The views and comments expressed on the following radio program by its hosts and their guests do not necessarily reflect the views of RMCOnAir.com or its affiliates. Listener discretion is advised.
Is it Joe? No. Ladies and gentlemen, Zometheus Rising and the Zo What Morning Show team returns.
So fresh.
The first show of 2013, and I'm telling you it's going to be crazy. It's jam-packed. It's going to move fast. Zo What Mornings back in the building. We got DJ Mr. Number Wonderful in the house. I'm glad he was able to make it back. Right? We got a bunch of people. I mean, the studio is packed. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to hit y'all really quickly. We're not going to do top stories today because there's so many guests. There's so many things we want to cover. So we're going to jump right into it, and we're going to get into our first topic of the day. Now, you guys know my co-host. First off, can we get a round of applause for Jeff Brown being in the building before the show even began? Christ alive, it's a new year. The world is ending tomorrow.
That's right. Jesus coming back Thursday.
Jeez.
He must have had an argument with his wife, had to get out soon.
No, we don't get out like that. That's Big Daddy's house. We don't raise our voices in my house.
Don't you raise your voice in my house,
raise your
woman.
voice in my house.
Talcum X.
Oh my God, that is so funny.
Hey,
Talcum
it's a new year.
X.
Come on.
That's it. Only to be taken out by Procter & Gamble, Talcum X. The very people who put him on.
Wow. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome Jeff Brown in the building with us.
What's going on?
Right? And, of course, the incomparable, everybody's best friend, Dr. Mark Goulston, just back from Good Day L.A., right?
I was there, but I didn't wear my down jacket. I don't know what there is about me. I have to wear a down jacket in this show.
Well, that's how you're down.
That's because I want to get down.
So you want to get down?
I don't know. Okay. Jesus. Okay. So let's do this really quickly. Anybody who's aware of Dr. Mark Goulston understands that he wrote an incredible book called Just Listen. We've been promoting the crap out of it,
and for good reason.
And for good reason. It's a great book.
Because none of us listen.
Especially the doctor. It's amazing. No, but he has a new book, Real Influence. Persuade without pushing. Gain without giving in. Great book. I'm hearing that it's number one in Madagascar. Even the lemurs are buying it.
Everybody shut up now.
They have Kimbers. They don't have Kindles.
Okay.
Right.
Now,
Shouldn't be funny.
Yeah, you should keep all the humor to the right. Keep all the humor. We got it. We got it.
Yeah, but you're
okay,
too far right sometimes. Every
now and then, I'm a shooting guard. Point guard, shooting guard. You got to play your position. I need you in the paint elbowing. I don't need you. All right?
Okay.
All right.
But great book. And the praise is crazy. Welcome to the show. Welcome back. 2013, Dr. Mark Goulston, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, I'm glad to be here, and I hope I don't disappoint and come up with my ignorant white question of the day.
Oh, Jesus.
No, that makes us happy. It's that humor that you kicking us in the balls with right now.
Damn.
You are foot to scrotum right now with the humor.
With the
got
jokes.
to stop that. Okay, we need you for philosophy and advice and depth. And you hard with it. I mean, you come and bam, they got to replace the glass when you get done.
That's true.
But that outside shot,
just don't shoot. No more.
Don't shoot from the outside. Don't shoot. You are 6'10". You have no business shooting from the outside. I know all of that's over your head right now, but just watch ESPN for a little bit, and then.
So I think there was a pony in there somewhere.
Exactly. So this is the part of the show that we're going to talk about our first topic. It's called Real Influence. And like the doc encouraged us to do, I think you guys should call in 323-965-1600 and tell us a story about the person that is most influential in your life, the person that influenced you in a positive way, whether it was an uncle, a mentor, a best friend, a mother, a father. Call us right now, 323-965-1600, and talk to us about the most influential person in your life. Now, what I'm going to do is introduce our two guests. We got two guests, and they're going to share their stories. They're going to kick off the stories of the inspirational people and influential people in their lives. Brought in by Dr. Mark Goulston himself. He brought in some... Is it mocha?
Some chocolatey goodness. Oh my God.
Well, we already have Studious chocolate.
Studious chocolate.
We already got that, but then the doc letting us know that his game is strong.
Yeah.
Brings in another type of mocha-ness.
Yes.
Who I mean, Doc raves about.
Wow,
He says
that's
she's
what
the
I'm talking
next Oprah Winfrey.
Okay, may I say this?
Yes.
That's one thing. I'm a just, I don't do this to you often, Doc, but I'm going to throw you over with white people right now. When you see, brothers, we will get any white girl. She can have gills. We don't care. She got a fin. She got a fin in the front. You're like, dude, her gills are dry. Get her to the lake. That's how we get out. When you see a white boy with a sister, they only roll with dimes.
Yes.
They don't joke around. They get the cream of the crop. They pull the lid off and go, who's fine and smart? You, and you. We'll see you in 5 years. Bam. That's how they get out. And that's what you are representing today.
Are
brother.
you
That's what I'm
calling?
talking about.
Are you calling Dr. Mark Goulston Mr. White Folks?
Mr. White Folks today, every now and then. It's like hockey. Every now and then you gotta sit in the penalty box. At my discretion, you will sit in the Mr. White Folks box. Right now, and that's a good thing right now, because that's how white dudes get out. My brother-in-law is white.
We
my
have to be
sister-in-law
careful.
is fine.
We have
That's how
to
they
be
get out.
careful, okay? We have
Why?
to be careful. Because the doc already thinks this show is raunchy.
Yeah, he has no idea why he comes here. He's like, what am I doing with my Tuesday? I obviously have 6 other days that are great, and I need this one that I'm just gonna screw off my time. I have.
Okay, those Hollywood syndicators that I said to tune in, and this is a real upscale show, and you could take it anywhere.
I apologize.
I apologize.
Why don't you go out and get a Wendy's?
We've got to get rid of that articulate crazy Negro.
So let me do this. Let me bring her in. Her name is Kabibi Springs. She is a marketing communications professional and coach over 17 years. She has worked for several Fortune 1000 companies in Los Angeles. I ain't gonna say who, but can we say who? Okay. Edelman Public Relations, Procter & Gamble Beauty, and the Virgin Entertainment Group. More recently, she has expanded her communication skills to coaching, behavior change, and developing online community programs for Farazi Greenlight, a relationship management consulting firm. Her focus is on the behaviors in the workplace that reduce stress and what?
Oh no, go ahead. Son.
You want to say something?
Just that all these credits are added to by the fact that she is fine. I know a lot of ugly girls that get a lot of stuff done. Yeah. When fine girls, I think
she's fine as Nat hair.
Yes, she is fine as Nat hair.
Yeah.
She is beautiful. And ugly people who achieve something, well, you kind of ugly. You didn't have other distractions.
Do, right?
They have no other
all
distractions.
You had to do was read
they
that
had
book.
No dudes hollering at them. They didn't have other people. When fine women get stuff done, that's what I'm talking about. She had other people. Hey girl, you gonna come to this party with me? No, I have to study. She did a lot of that. Ugly girls ain't doing nothing. What they doing? They studying.
They ride to the party in the trunk.
That's it. And hold purses all night because won't nobody dance with them.
Oh, damn.
That is not her experience.
Wow.
And in spite of all of the shallow individuals like myself that have thrown themselves at her, she did all that other stuff.
All right, so look, really quickly, let me just finish. She blogs about stress management strategies at lifeonsprings.com. Really quickly, our next guest, first off, welcome Kabibi Springs.
Thank you for all the compliments.
You are very welcome.
She is delicious, Jesus. Now, let's move on. Jeez.
Talking about.
We're going to jump into this topic at some point. Billionaire PA has rejoined us. Everybody knows what's up with him. Wealthy Minds
boy?
Clothing. He's dressed like my good friend Sammy Davis.
Yeah.
Shaboing boing.
Just came from the Riviera, baby.
One of the Rack Pat. He's in here ready to do it. And he's going to talk about influence. with Dr. Mark Goulston, Jeff Brown, and Zoe Williams, 2013. What is influence, really quickly, Dr. Mark Goulston?
Influence is getting people to do things because they want to. You never have to tell them to do anything, and they can't get enough of it. So what you are is you are kind of the hope for a better life, and people are drawn to it like a magnet, and you never have to sell anyone when you influence them.
Wow. Who's your greatest influence? Who had the greatest impact on your life positively?
Kick me to the curb if I'm too modern.
To the curb, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah. Actually,
Get your slang up.
okay,
All right.
the greatest influence.
Come on, Doc.
Let's go ahead, Doc. We know. Okay. Why? Okay, I'm just gonna say this. I'm put you in the white folks penalty box. If you want to know what black people were saying, doing, thinking, acting, wearing 5 years ago, find somebody white. Go ahead.
Come on. Are you saying there's like a...
Come on, man. When the last time you kicked somebody in the curb?
Just let him finish.
One of my, I think my greatest professional accomplishment, and I don't know anyone who's ever done this, is I dropped out of medical school twice and finished.
Wow.
I don't know anyone, I didn't drop out to see the world. I lost my mind. I couldn't concentrate. Stuff wasn't going in, but I was somehow passing, and the school wanted to kick me out, especially the second time, because they're losing money when someone they match funds, and when someone takes a leave of absence, they lose money. So the second time around, they wanted to kick me out, and I came from kind of a stern family, so I didn't really turn to my parents or anything, and so there I am. I didn't know that I was kind of on my last legs, and in schools, they sometimes have something called deans of students. And deans of students really care about students, whereas the deans of the schools care about making money. And so the dean of the school wanted me to withdraw, which is a nice way of kicking me out because I was losing the money. And the dean of students, so imagine this, a guy who comes from a slightly stern background, childhood. And so this guy pulls me in and he says, Mark, you didn't screw up. I mean, I was passing stuff miraculously. He said, but you are screwed up.
Wow.
But if you got unscrewed up, I think this school would one day be glad they gave you a second chance. So I'm crying because I don't know what kindness is. I never felt kindness. And then he says to me, even if you don't get unscrewed up, and even if you don't become a doctor, I would be proud to know you because you have goodness. And you have no idea how much the world needs that, and you won't know it till you're 35, but you got to make it to 35.
I got to use the bathroom. I'll be right back.
What? Are you about to cry?
No, I got this allergy.
Anyway, that's enough. I didn't want to belabor.
Wow.
I knew I'd embarrass Jeff. So, but anyway, but then he said to me, and he knew I was kind of uncomfortable with all the kindness. I didn't know what to do. And he said, "Look at me." I looked at him, and he said, "You deserve to be on this planet. Do you understand me?" And I just kind of nodded. And then he had to arrange an appeal, and he was just a PhD, and he had to arrange an appeal with all these big, fancy medical doctors, heads of hospitals, because he felt that I was worth saving. And then he died a few years later, and the sad thing is I think he was right, that the world needs goodness and some kindness, and I tried to make a living sometimes working with people who weren't the goodest or the kindest. But recently I said, I got to go back to that. So that's why I formed this global community, Heartfelt Leadership. If you go to Heartfelt Leadership, the mission is daring to care, and I'm just trying to pay back a little bit what that guy did to me. So it's
Wow.
that was a pretty big influence.
Miss Springs, talk to me about the person who just changed it all just because they showed you care, love, and compassion, and they invested in you.
I thought about this for a little while, and there are a lot of people I could have picked, but I'm going to give this one to my parents. Just because I feel I had a really role model type of parenting lifestyle, being brought up with rules and structure.
See that?
Things that you don't necessarily like as a child, but in looking back and looking at some of my peers who didn't have that type of influence around them on a daily basis, it definitely paid off.
See.
So the parents, they laid the groundwork.
So
for me.
it's mom and dad. They're the biggest influences.
They're the
for
biggest influence because they always led by example. So they weren't just telling me, you know, you need to study, you need to read, anything you need to learn, you can find it in a book in the library, education or not. They were doing those things in front of me. They were making us do book reports during the summertime when we're supposed to take a break.
Wow.
Their hard work was just, you know, the backbone of our family.
Wow.
So today when I feel like I want to sit around or I feel like, you know, I've reached a dead end.
It's in you. It's ingrained.
It's definitely ingrained. It's a habit that's been created already.
Billionaire PA.
Zoe Williams.
Who has inspired and motivated you and influenced you in a way that just changed your whole course, your whole get down?
Man, as you know, man, I've had a lot of people that have tremendously inspired me, but people who influence me are people that basically genuinely help you with no expectations to gain. And I would have to honestly say one of my most recent inspirations would actually be Zoe Williams.
What?
Wow.
Hey, what did I do?
This is a brother that, you know, I met 3 months ago, and we've done more positive damage in 3 months than some people have done in 30 years worth living.
Wow.
Because of Zoe, you know, I've been able to meet Dr. Mark Goldstein, and without Zoe Williams, that connection would have not been formulated. Because of Zoe Williams, Poetess was able to come by and put her dream on the wall, and so all that type of stuff is what inspires me to speak my dreams into existence. So if you take Zoe Williams out the picture, there is no relationship with Billionaire and Dr. Mark. There is no Poetess dream on the wall. There is no connection, you know, with Chocolate.
Studious Chocolate. Her name is Mercedes Bryant.
Yeah.
Let's just give her a real name.
You can't start out with chocolate. That just,
oh, Jesus. It went from inspirational to sensational.
No, but serious, man. You was one of the people that, you know, when I released Too Much Faith, you was one of those people that was willing to put it on the airways and let a lot of more people be inspired. And it's always been my mission just to continue to push a positive message. And to be honest, I have no voice if people don't, you know, put it on TV or if they don't put it on the radio. And, you know, what good is talent if nobody hears it?
Wow.
Because of you, you know, a lot of people, you know, I've been able to build relationships with Alabama Rob. The guy purchases clothing every week.
Wow.
All because of Zoe Williams. You know, so I'm very appreciative, man. And, you know, one of my biggest inspiration, I'll keep this one short, is, you know, the man that changed it all in L.A. is Reginald Hudlin.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. This is amazing. I didn't know he was going to mention me.
I thought you were going to. I was trying to get him to make you cry.
Nah, hey, listen. And I'm going to come to Jeff Brown before I do myself. But Jeff.
Yes, sir.
Who is that one?
Okay.
That one person that just flipped the whole script for you.
Oh, wow. Okay. Can I cheat and say two? Because you did. You said parents. So I'm
They're a
going to cheat.
unit.
Yeah, she cheated.
They're a unit. They're a unit. That's right.
She
You
did
see,
cheat, though.
got
The
the love
unit
of
is
sister.
two people.
Got the love of sister that know her daddy. Woo, love that. That's strong. Okay, anyway. All right. My whole all right. That's the truth, though. That's true. Okay.
Love
all
a
right.
sister that know her daddy.
Look here. I ain't saying every girl that don't know her daddy is a hoe, but I'm saying all the hoes I know. All right,
Don't know their daddy.
Don't know their daddy. All right, now. All right.
Wow.
My whole family. Honest to God, my whole family is the Poetess color. They all light skinned. My whole family light skinned.
Oh,
you could be
Jesus.
my cousin. Light skinned, 6'2", green eyes. Everybody. Blah, 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 blah. The dude, but except for my grandfather was dark. Who that's number one. My grandfather. That's the kind of old school black brother. Cut his thumb off at work and put it in a lunchbox and keep working and get his wife sew it back on because he's gonna be here tomorrow. That dude. Okay, him and my Uncle Larry. My Uncle Larry, when I tell you, and he married my auntie, they still together. When I tell you this dude is dark, okay, everybody close your eyes. Everybody close your eyes. Everybody close your eyes. Close your eyes. Close your eyes. That dark. He is that dark. Dark. Okay?
Close your eyes.
He was the coolest, oh my God, Earth, Wind, and Fire 70s dude. He was super cool. Treated my auntie like a queen. He was the first. Him and my auntie got married. They were the first people I ever saw that got married, had their own kids, and lived in their house by themselves. Swear to God. And that was big to me when I grew up. I grew up in the extended family. When the feces hits the rotary oscillator, we gonna come back to grandmama's house. That's how I grew up. And this was the one dude that had his own stuff together. He had his own job. He was a dude. He was that dude for me, to look at him and see him. And, you know, I was chocolate. Everybody else around me was light. So I didn't identify. I identified with him directly. And I know some people say I'm not that dark, but I identify with dark-skinned black people. And so, yeah, it was him.
Okay, Jeff Brown.
You asked me. You the one asked. I wasn't even going to say nothing. I was going to let it go on by.
I think I'm going to cry after that because I followed 80% of it. That's more than my usual batting
There
average.
you go, man.
Listen, when we come back, I'm going to tell you who my real influences are. And this is a great show. And, stay tuned. The next segment of this show is going to be straight crazy. But when we come back from break, we got to take a quick one. I'm going to tell you who my influences are. Real Influence, Zoe What Morning Show, back with the whole crew. I'll see you on 2.2 seconds.
Kick this one here for me and my
DJ, Mr. Number Wonderful, back in the building.
Yeah.
Zoe What Morning Show.
I got to ask Mr. Wonderful something.
Mark,
Yep.
you're not listening very well. You got to let us set the show back up, Mark. Just regular radio.
white
Get
folks.
down.
Now the music's
See?
gone. I
Hold
lost
on,
it.
hold on. Let's just promote his book.
Would you? Because you know white folks think they
Dr.
see
Mark?
it. They own every damn thing they see. That's
Just
why they walk in your
entitlement.
house and make a sandwich.
Just entitlement. You know what, Mr. Wonderful?
Walk right in your house, go in your refrigerator and make a sandwich.
The doctor
Tell
want to
your
know how
kids
you
to shut up.
how you spin them little black pieces of plates over there. What you doing?
No, I want to know, Mr. Wonderful, would you play music at bar mitzvahs if the white people promise not to dance?
And another failed joke
Wow.
by a serious doctor.
Wow.
Yeah, good music. And this guy next to me is keeping a beat, and I'm
you
getting
talking about
sciatica.
okay? You talking about throwing up bricks? This dude here came to the court with bricks.
His
with
offense is worse than-
house bricks. Okay, he trying to dribble them. He passing them. These are bricks. This is not a ball. Don't say Spalding on it. You actually make houses with what he brought.
What? That was a joke attempt. This is terrible. Let's just re-intro
From the parking lot.
Jesus.
Ignorant white joke. Go on.
All right. Before the break, we were talking about real influence. Who has influenced you? Who has motivated you to become your best self, your most positive self? What was your greatest influence? Was it a grandfather? Was it a grandmama? I mean, sometimes Big Mama.
Big Mama be doing it.
Big Mama come through with that jewel. She always got jewels, but
Baby.
like,
A cow need his tail more than once the fan flies. That's a quote. Mildred Cottle, rest in peace, my grandmama.
you see what I mean?
That's
Who
right.
is that influential person in your life? 323-965-1600 is the number to dial. Call us and let us know what you think. Hey, let me just give you mine.
Go ahead, hit it. Hit us with it.
I have several because throughout your life, it's like
Yeah.
it's like reading a book
Milestones, baby.
with 1,000 chapters in it. So
Right.
at any one of those chapters, somebody is that influential person in that pivotal moment, that can either make or break you. And my Big Mama had one of those moments. Mm-hmm. My Uncle Ben, I think you met Uncle Ben. I don't know.
Yeah, I met Uncle
My
Ben.
Uncle Ben, and listen, when we came from Chattanooga, when his sister got all of her kids and put us on a Trailways bus from Chattanooga,
with hot pork chop sandwiches.
you understand it was a greasy bag of chicken and sandwiches.
That's right.
You
In
know,
a suitcase.
that
Wasn't
ran
no
out
thermos.
half the way on the trip. You ain't had no more food. When she got us all from Chattanooga to Altadena, the first person that I met was my Uncle Ben. And he was like, okay.
You, green-eyed boy, come here.
What he said was, he was like, you got my mama's eyes. He said, nobody else in the family got those eyes but you. And he said, we gonna look out for you. And he looked out for everybody too. But the first thing he noticed, he took a notice. Like, he watched me. And he was like, oh, this kid can play. And he took me with his sons, and he bought all of us tennis shoes, basketball shoes. But the caveat was, you can't just wear these. These ain't for school. These are for basketball and basketball only.
Wow.
And and you can only wear them in the gym.
You made them magic.
You understand? Them shoes had a meaning.
Gave you priorities.
You know? And when I talk to him today, he'll say, I wish I could have did more. I wish I could have been there more. But he's like, dude, what I was able to do was give you a piece of myself and push you. Because I knew if nobody pushed you, you wouldn't push yourself.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
When I was 19 years old, I opened my first business in Pasadena. It was a bookstore. Then it evolved. From a bookstore, we started selling clothes, airbrushing, Then we started a pager company inside of there, and then we bought an ATM machine. And my uncle came to me, and the people from all over. MC Ren, all types of people were coming. De La Soul, coming to Altadena on Fair Oaks, right across the street from the cemetery.
What?
Just to hear me speak. And my uncle came to me and said, hey, boy, hold on, pimp. Are you charging these people? I said, well, no, I
Hold on, pimp. I need to tell you, turn up your pimping.
But he said, he gave me jewels. He said, are you charging these people? I said, no, I'm not charging these people. I just want to help the community. I want to do what I can to just make the community. He said, first off, you ain't went to business school, but you got a business? Come here, son. Let me tell you something. Black people will respect you more if you charge them. He said, if you give it away for free, they won't respect it. He said, anybody who buys something, that money was worked for. So when they buy something, they respect what they've purchased. If you give it away, they may not respect it as much as if they bought it. He said, don't do that for free too long. Right? And he was always there, and he was always saying things like, I don't understand how a 19-year-old kid, right? Because I had this business. I started at 19. I didn't sell it until I was 29. I had it for 10 years. He said, who does that? That's not, he said, son, don't ever let nobody say anything negative about you. He said, because I don't know too many people that went to business school that can hold on to a business, grow it, develop it with no training. He said, man, and that dude right there, I talk to him all the time.
Well, you know what? He just vicariously gave me a nugget. And this ain't no ignorance. I don't know where this is going. I'm just being real. He said that people who spend their hard-earned money on something that they want shows that that's what they respect.
Yeah.
From this point on, I will judge people, because I do it already. But now I understand that I judge people by what they respect.
Wow.
When I see a dude that didn't put, he got a 78 Malibu and the car worth $500 and he got $12,000 into it, I ain't do really. I have to judge you by what you respect. Okay? All right. Your kids' shoes run over, but you got brand new 24s on your car. I have to judge you by what you respect. Your uncle's a genius.
So before we wrap up this topic really quickly and move on to the next, the heated one, this is what I want to do to the doc. This book is a very, very powerful book, and I see that there are some listening skills in there. There's some usable insights in there. My question is this, man.
Ain't no jokes in there, is it?
Ain't no damn. I hope ain't no damn jokes.
Ain't no
in
jokes
there.
in there.
He about as funny as the end of the world.
A train hitting a school bus.
Oh
my God.
Jeez. Oh, anyway, Doc. How can we become mentors, right, of the people around us? Because I believe that when positivity is engendered within a person, it becomes infectious and contagious, right? Like, for instance, when you say, Zoe, man, I need to work with you. I need to help you. You've said this on many occasions. We've sat down and talked and shared. And that opens me up to say, you know what? That guy really cares. That motivates me to say, you know what? Because he cares and I know somebody cares about me, I'm about to put the work in on me, right? And that's how you begin to climb up the ladders of life and live the type of life you want to live. Could you give our listeners some key points that are in this book that would make them go out and get it and motivate them to want to not only take the influence from other people, but also share it with people? What are some points?
one of the top steps, the first step is called go for a great outcome. And what that means is when you're with someone and you're listening to them, really listen into them. And one of the ways to do that, there's actually a tactic in there. When you're with someone, look into their left eye. Hold on to their left eye because their left eye is connected to their right brain, and their right brain is their emotional brain. Mm-hmm. And your right eye is connected to your left brain. That's your logical one. That's why your right hand tries to control and your left hand's kind of floppy, but your left hand's much more honest. Your right hand is much more taking control. So look into someone's left eye. Hold on to it. Keep looking. Doesn't matter what their face says. And then, like Jeff's looking at me, I'd say, Jeff, what would be an amazing thing to happen this year? And then you'd say something. I'd say, no, what would be really amazing? And you say that 3 times, and people will go 3 levels. And when they hit the thing that's real, they'll exhale. They'll go, let's make that one happen.
Wow.
This is the most remarkable pimp. Okay, we can't swear. Feces.
First off,
I have ever heard. Look into the left eye. What? Dr. Mark, you have no. That's what it is. You have no idea that you pimping. You're like the Hulk when he turned green. He don't have no idea
that he yelling, tearing
damage
stuff
and
up.
destruction that he is doing until he come back down and look around. Look into the.
But
So
no.
Williams.
I am never losing an argument with a woman again. Just come on, look at POTUS. Look at me, girl. Look at me. Just so I can see your left eye. What you want to talk about? I don't care what you want to talk about.
I don't know if it'll work. I need to be in
This
the
is
heat of the storm.
brilliant.
I need to see it. And
I believe it. It makes sense.
I'm not disagreeing.
I mean, and not just because he's white, because you know sometimes black people believe
the white man said it.
the white man's ice is colder.
It's
you
the
know,
truth.
Well, the white man's ice is colder because it gets there before it melts.
Okay.
Jesus will be back when the white man says
This
so.
is really
Brilliant.
this is really important for women because I coach women, and what happened? Here's the truth about women, and the men will agree with this. Women have amazing bullshit detectors.
Yes.
Most of men are 80% bullshit. And so
I
what
don't know.
happens? No, what happens is when a woman is like, when a woman is like, catch me, a woman, especially in organizations, corporate, where they're kind of like Bambi. I still think Bambi should have been a woman, but they're like kind of Bambi, and they're there and they're kind of wandering around, and then suddenly the men are saying, "Oh, she's going to be on to us." She's going to know we're all full of it. And so what happens is men act in these atrocious ways. And so instead of the woman being able to look into the man's left eye and see all that bullshit, she's like this. Ah! And so what happens is the men say, oh, good, we have her off balance. She's not going to smell the rat inside all of us. So when I'm coaching women, I tell them, stay focused. Realize that all men, they're not bad, they're just fear-driven. They think way down deep there's not an ounce of competence inside them, and they all know that no one's going to blow the whistle on each other. And so, but just focus. Don't be there to blow the whistle on them. And then when they're doing their nasty thing, just keep focusing on their left eye. Let it go over your shoulders. Never let it hit you between the eyes. And then pause and smile in a loving way and say, what was that about? And what'll happen is you will stay centered, and you will never get taken advantage again in the world by men.
And Kabibi, do you teach these practices as well?
I've actually used that one.
Really, the left eye stare tactic.
Yes.
The left eye stare down. Okay, go deeper. How is it that you can use your skill set to help people reach that next level? And I'm sure they see you as an influence in their life if you can actually produce positive results. So what are some of the steps that you take people through in order to reach that level?
Well, I typically deal with a lot of students who are transitioning into their career work life. So I view my position as more of a trying to get to you before you get soured on what the working world is like. And I meet a lot of students who are like, I never thought that this is what work was going to be like, or it's none of the things that I'm used to being excited about. And I tell them this is, corporate life is a game that you're playing on a day-to-day basis. It's a game of composure, communication, and in many cases, empathy. And that's what Dr. Goulston and I talk about a lot.
There's
is how
something
to
right there. Go deeper.
bring empathy into the workplace. This little tactic he's talked about, I've used it in a confrontation with someone who was trying to throw me off balance. And it really does work. The calmer you can stand And the more you can intently look into their eye, I actually hit a point where this person was feeling vulnerable. That's why they were lashing out at me. It had nothing really to do with me.
Go deeper
It was
into the corporate game. And and the composure get down.
There's a lot of things that happen in your day-to-day life at work that require you to bring your best self to the workplace. And by your best self, I mean your most humble self.
The self that is able to manage your outburst.
Absolutely.
Why
And
do you
manage
have
other
to
people's
But
outbursts.
why do you have to manage it? Is there a hierarchy of condescension? Let's just go deeper. I just want to hear the game.
Well, there's definitely.
She's spitting it.
I just want to hear the game.
I know you probably have never had it put to you this way, because I'm gonna guess that our upbringings and backgrounds are a little different.
Yes.
But you are spitting that pimp shit right now. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
They might be more similar than you realize.
Oh. You better stop. Behave, girl. I'm married. Watch yourself. All right, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I think that most people get they're frustrated by the interactions they have on a day-to-day at work. They're not frustrated with their work. They took the job. It was something they wanted to do. It's the conversations we have on a day-to-day basis with people at work, or the experiences that we're absorbing, or the way people are treating us that causes that tension and that stress. And it requires a different level of communication skills. I mean, I've been told many times the term that people use is you're unflappable. And I think if you could only imagine what's going on in my mind about the things that I would love to do to you
Ghetto
right
ass. I should call my cousin Day Day. He'll be up here in 20 minutes. That nigga ain't doing nothing but sitting on the couch eating Captain Crunch. I'll have him come up.
You think I don't know what Day, huh?
Right, you think I don't know a Day? I can make one phone call and the rolling 60s will be all downstairs.
Billionaire, go ahead. Your point.
Sorry.
Zoe Williams, man, I honestly am I commend, people like you that do a positive show, man, that have a platform to give back to people. Because yesterday, I met an individual, man, who's honestly a gangbanger, and he did 10 years in prison, man. He turned himself in when he was 16, just got out at 26, and yesterday he told me, I inspired him to speak his dreams into existence. Wow. And that brother is listening right now, man, and he's very inspired, and one of the things I want you to know, man, is to keep doing what you're doing, because it's actually, helping a lot of people. And this brother looked at me and he told me if it was just other brothers, out there doing positive things that he could look up to, that would have been 10 years that he could have kept in his life, because he was only doing what was in his environment. And so to have to speak on a topic of influence, I think that a lot of people should set their egos to the side and give credit to people that support them, and thank people like, my writing partner, Tiffany Ketch, and Dr. Mark Goldstein, because when you put positive energy in the universe, it will definitely come back to you. When you put that bad ego out there, when you check your bank account, I'm sure a lot of people's ego keep them broke.
Damn. Damn. Now, let me just say this, though. And Mark will tell you, the person that inspires me the most, I met her 6 months ago. Now, on Christmas Eve, right? I've been kind of mentoring and coaching this girl for 6 months. She reached out on Facebook and was like, yo, man, I saw you on Black Men Revealed TV show. And I just said, forget it. I'm going to reach out to you because I need to talk to somebody. Wow. I said, okay, you can talk to me. Here's my number. Call me, And I don't normally do that. I just thought it was, it seems like it's a serious situation. She reached out. She tells me that she was beaten by her boyfriend June 8th. That's when she reached out, June 8th. And she was beaten in public at a Detroit Tigers opening game in Detroit. And the dude, punched her in the mouth and threw her all up against the gate and slammed her head into the car dashboard. I mean, he did some damage. And she was like, I need to still have faith in men. And I saw you on TV and I felt like I could connect. So I've been mentoring her. On December 24th, Christmas Eve, I get a tweet from her sister. I don't even know her sister. I didn't even know her sister was following me. I didn't know. Her sister says to me, you need to call my sister. She's in the hospital. So I call her. And she got my message and used her mother's phone to call me back. The girl was beaten for a few hours by a family friend. He tried to rape her. He robbed her, destroyed her phone. She was on her period. She fought him off. He didn't get it. She fought him off. And then she sent me a picture. Her mother sent me a picture of her in the hospital. Just, you can imagine what she looked like. I can't even, she was toe up. I mean, she was destroyed. And she said, the only person I can talk to is Zoe Williams. I called Mark Goulston. Hey, this is above my pay grade. Yeah. I need Mark Goulston. So, and Mark gave me insight in that moment. Mark was like, hold on. Hey, wait a minute. He said, Zoe, the sad thing is, a traumatized person, this was a jewel. He said a traumatized person usually can't receive instruction or hear from another person who has not been traumatized. He said, dude, we can't do anything but really just support her, say positive things. But he said, we need to recommend that she calls somebody, some type of support group with other people that have gone through what she went through. Well, what I did was I said, I got to do something. I got her picture that her mother texted me, and I text 400-500 people.
I got that.
You got that text, right?
Yeah.
I said, I don't give a damn what you say to her, but say something positive. Say something that will influence and inspire this girl to continue to want to live and fight.
I think I may have inspired her the wrong way.
What'd you say?
I gave her the number to a couple of pipe-hitting niggas in Detroit that handle just this type of shit.
But what was amazing about it was, and I know it's going to take a while for her to bounce back, but she bounced back with, Zoe, the fact that all these people are calling me. The person who took my pictures, the photographer who took my pictures called her and said, I'm going to give you a makeover when you heal. And I'm going to do a photo shoot for you. I think somebody sending her money. Somebody giving her stuff. People were praying. People got on the phone and said, Zoe told me to call and pray.
A sea of positive energy.
A sea of positive energy came and just engulfed that woman. And I think that's my purpose in life. And that's what I'm trying to do. And that's why I use this platform to do what we need to do. But what I'm going to do now, I'm going to take a break. And when we come back, we're going to cover the Django Unchained movie. We're going to do a movie review, and we got people in the building who will speak on it.
Yeah.
Django Unchained. Let me just say, before I go to break.
Could you? Because I got something that's very important.
Are white people using creative license under the guise of art to say what they really want to say? Right? Say how they really feel. Gratuitous use of the word nigga. Okay. You can't say it in any other context other than creative. This is art, nigger. I'm just saying. Somebody call us 323-965-1600. We'll be back at 2.2. Django!
Music, like other art forms, is a...
As I was saying, stereo is full of surprises.
Yo, that track is bananas. Who is that DJ, Mr. Number Wonderful?
Let's see here.
It's Bob.
Right. Right.
DJ Proper and the Grand Lord Master.
Wow. It's fly business.
I am the Grand Lord Master.
Yeah.
You will worship me. Bring me 3 bowls of rice and your oldest sister.
Lord Suffolk. Bring her to me now.
Have her washed and sent to my tent. Water for the horses and ale for the men. Where is that poetess?
Yes.
The high yellow one. With the fantastic sweater meat. Have her bring to me at once. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I don't know where that came from, and I apologize for that energy.
Talking about a genius, man.
Sweater meat.
Comic genius.
Thank you, brother.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Zoe What Morning Show. We're having a great time. We're going to go into our next segment, man. This is very important. How many of you guys out there saw Django? And we want to know your opinion. Call us right now, 323-965-1600. That's 323-965-1600. Man, the story keeps evolving. First and foremost, let's just thank Jamie Foxx. Let's give him some props.
Shout out to Fox, bro.
Let me just say, I'm happy that the dude is seeing just success on top of success. He's blowing up. This shit is crazy. We gotta give him love for what he's
talented. He has a monster work ethic. He works his ass off.
Right.
Shout out to Fox.
But let's talk about social responsibility.
Okay.
A lot of people are upset about 110 times that the word nigga was said in the movie.
I only counted 88, but okay.
Only 88. Okay, check it out. We have a caller? Oh. Well, let's do this really quickly. Caller, come in and tell us what you're talking about.
Yeah, this is Sean. I was talking about, I listen to y'all show all the time. I love it. But yeah, Jeff Brown, you're a fool. Dr. Mark, we appreciate what you do, man. You try. We know. We love it, man. You know. You're doing what you do. But I do want to talk about Django, but just the mentoring thing right now. In our communities, and I know we're really about to get into this Django, but in these communities right now, me and one of my friends, we both got out of work for a big company, and we said we wanted to go into these communities and get these kids and maybe show them, let's show them how to play youth football and do community things and stuff like that. But when you walk up to a group of them, they take it like it's about to be a war started. Like it's really something about to go down when you're trying to communicate and talk and do all that. And I don't know if Dr. Mark wants us to look into the left eye, but they're not trying to hear that.
It's hard.
So that's all I'm saying. It's really hard to kind of get them. And then when you say, well, let's go talk to the parents. Well, what do you want with my child? I mean, I can't even imagine what teachers got to go through right now, because we're dealing with the first generation of young parents, like 30-year-old parents. We're dealing with their kids from the 90s now.
The crack babies.
But I mean, crack babies. That's exactly what Too Short said. We're dealing with the first crack baby parents, kids. These are the kids we're dealing with. Crack baby parents, kids. These are their kids, and we have to try to, mentor them. And it's really something else out here to try to do that. And but I know y'all kind of dumped that topic.
No. It all ties together, brother. It ties together. Yeah. So finish your point.
Okay, yeah. But that's really what it is. So we were trying to figure out how to kind of get out here and get into the community. And we live in a pretty good community in California. We live in Antioch, Concord area, San Francisco. And we said, well, let's go out to Oakland and some different places and see what we can do and put some stuff together. And it just became an uphill battle of being able to mentor that way, because you see some of your more successful people, they have mentors that were able to take them under their wing.
Well, brother,
now it's just about self.
What's your name again, brother?
My name is Sean.
Sean, here's something that came to me in a dream, and you can use it. It's a Jeff Brown dream, so keep that in mind.
Yeah. Never mind the dolphins.
I like to get high before I go to sleep. So I was in this high dream, and I was talking directly to God. And I said, God, I see young children going by me in a lake of fire, young black children, and I want to save them. He said, you can save them, but you know what you're going to get? Burned.
Oh, wow.
Okay? It is uphill and it is hard.
Sean,
but if you can save just one child after talking to 1,000, you suck, Sean. You should be able to save more than one child when you talk to 1,000. You got to get out there and you got to do it. It's hard. I know it's hard, bruh. But I'm leaning towards Zoe now.
Hey, Zoe, you got a minute?
Hold on. Let me wrap this caller. Hey, brother, I really appreciate
your call.
Can I give him a tip?
Yes, you can give him a tip, but let's make it quick because we got other callers and we got to get the guests in. Go ahead, Mark.
Sean, find the ringleader. Take the ringleader aside and say, I need your help because you're important. And a lot of times ringleaders are ringleaders because they want to feel important. But if you are sincere, and it's true, you need his help. I need your help because you're important. People listen to you. And they won't listen to me, but they'll listen to you. And I think because you're important, you have a chance.
Wow.
You have a chance to help all the people that look up to you, and I need your help. So find that person and try and be an influence to them, and then see where that takes you.
Wow.
I really appreciate it, guys. Thank you very much. Like I said, I'm a fan.
Thank you,
the only one thing I'm going to say on Django when I'm out of here is it was an important movie because we don't talk about those issues, and I think our ancestors will want us to hear their story.
Okay, that was great, man. Really appreciate the call. 323-965-1600. Call us. Let us know what you think. We got one more caller to take, and then I'm going to introduce my guest for this segment. Caller, speak.
Hey, what's going on, Zoe, and the panel? This is Jay Scholar calling from South Carolina.
What's happening, man? What's happening?
Not much, man. Just wanted to chime in, man, on Django, but it kind of ties into everything we be talking about pretty much from week to week. But I think it was a great movie on the general sense, but on a deeper level, I think it opens conversations between black and white folk that really, was just too tense to talk about, or you had to be real tight friends with them to talk about some of those things.
And you know what? You bring up a great point. Let me do this. Stay with me, Jay Scholar. Let me do this. Is it true? Because in the film, the baddest, finest girl, sister, was the slave master's girl. What is the innuendo there? Is that saying our baddest, best, most beautiful girls are for sale to the white man, the one who can provide for her?
Historically, let me answer that question.
Go deeper for Pokar.
No, give it to him. Give him the intro. Give him the intro. You can't just run you can't just run out the tunnel with no lights on.
I was gonna let him because I just love his whole get down. Furpo Card, right? Scholar extraordinaire. One of my best friends. We always get together. He has some of the most informative books. I've promoted some of his books on this show. The book about the South African Holocaust that precluded, that was before the German Holocaust. It's almost like Germany went down to Africa to practice the Holocaust.
That's exactly
on Africans.
That's
from 1890 to what? 1940?
1904. That was the first Holocaust, and then of course the second Holocaust happened in Germany.
Wow.
Where black people were in concentration camps that you never hear about.
And this is the brother who wrote that book. And I tell you, go get the people always ask me, what books are you reading? I'm reading a lot of Furpo stuff. But one of his most powerful books that even he can't get his hands on, I'll be begging for this book. This brother broke down the dictionary and showed the racist origin of every single word. I mean, it's so cold. What's the name of the book really quickly?
Wicked Words, Poisoned Minds, Racism in the Dictionary, which will be out next month.
Man, it's and when I tell you this book is so ridiculous, it's one of the books you have to go get. I actually, in mentoring at a high school, gave it away to a young kid because he was fascinated by it, and I never seen it again. It was gone. But give me an example. Let's break down the word denigrate.
Denigrate is from the word, interestingly enough, nigger.
Wow.
Denigrate means to blacken, if you look at it. And that's where we get the word nigger from as well.
Because the root word is?
Denigrate. Nigrate.
Wow.
Absolutely. That's not only that, here's another example, gorilla.
Go deeper.
Gorilla. Gorilla. Webster's Ninth New Collegiate Dictionary says, and this is verbatim, it is believed to be the name of an alleged African tribe of hairy women.
Gorilla. Hairy African women.
Absolutely.
So what does G-Unit mean?
G-Unit.
No.
Gangster unit.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
But that's exactly the origin or the etymology of the word gorilla. That's prior to the first definition, interestingly enough.
Wow.
So there's much to be said. You're talking about the black woman.
Give me the definition of the butt.
Oh, yes.
Go deeper.
Okay. Well, you have the word calipigia. These are all Greek words, interestingly enough. Calipigius. Now, cali means good or beautiful in Greek, and pigia means rump or buttocks. So, calipigia means having shapely buttocks. Jeff, there's your cue. Go ahead.
Calipicious heifer. Oh, my Lord. Studious chocolate is just so calipicious.
Right.
Calipicious.
But you know what? According to the dictionary, she can't be. Because that's only for white women. You see, they have another word for black women, and that's steatopygia. Same word, P-Y-G-I-A, pygia. That means rump, same thing, but steatopygia means having an excessive amount of fat on the buttocks, especially in black women. That's so the Greeks had a word for black women, saying that the butt was unshapely, almost sounds like a disease, right? Steatopygia. But for the white woman, it's calipigia.
And steatopygia would translate into Buffy the Body today, right?
I done seen some steatopygias catching the bus with 3 kids, and her ass looked like 2 kids under a blanket wrestling when she walked, like it's chewing gum or something. And that is not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the asses that look like 2 wet bowling balls. What do you call that? 'Cause that's what I like.
Yes. Jay, wait, hold on. Jay's on the line with us really quickly. Jay?
Yeah, let me close out so I can get back to work and continue to hear this. Y'all off the chain, but Django was good, man. On the literal sense, for what it was, on the deep historical end, I think it's important that this crack baby generation, the babies of the crack babies, actually get to see this, even though they're not going to pay it attention because the whole society
they can't. They crack babies
paying attention, but. Each generation, my mom's generation, they had a struggle. My mom remember when segregation happened, you know what I'm saying? And we caught the end of that in my generation. I'm 28. But I think my sister's generation on back, the Chief Keefs and all of them, they have no identification of struggle within a race.
Right.
So maybe if they watch Django, they'll see the struggle. They'll be like, and maybe it'll spark some of the thinkers to go back and watch Roots. Because you remember the whole week before Django came out,
they were playing Roots.
Roots was on every day. I didn't understand that, but it makes sense.
But
so
this is
that, Zoe, man.
And thank you for the call, man. I appreciate it, man. Thanks, Jay Scholar. Let me just say, 323-965-1600. Call us and let us know what you think of the Django film. Do you think it was responsible? Do you think it was irresponsible? Do you think the use of nigger was gratuitous and over the top? Do you think they used creative license just to... This is the thing that bothers me. Slavery is such a small part of African history, right? In America, that's all they really refer to. Slavery, Martin Luther King. You ain't gonna get no Malcolm X in the textbook. You might get a snippet that he got killed for outing somebody in the nation. You might get a piece of that.
Yeah.
But for the most part, slavery is the bulk of our history. And I think the media has a responsibility to portray, and my question is, why are they afraid to portray us pre-slavery?
This is where we
in terms of the image.
This is where we disagree.
Go,
I think the media has absolutely no responsibility to portray us any way than they do. We have a responsibility to view who the media is and look around them, because your enemy has no... When you play football against another team, that's like saying you have the responsibility to show us your playbook. No, we don't.
No, we don't.
You got to beat us. That's your responsibility.
You know what plays we run in.
Thank you. You know what plays Fox News is running. Okay?
That's a good point.
I have no... The media owes me nothing.
Was Spike Lee right?
Nothing. No, well, here's my problem with Spike Lee. Name 3 movies that Spike Lee came out and said they were great that he didn't do. I'll wait. Exactly. Right. So that nullifies his point right there. Dude, you don't... That's like my ex-wife telling me her sister-in-law don't like me. She don't like nobody.
Furpo?
I have something to say here about that, okay?
Go deeper,
first of all, here it is. This is about Django now. I've talked about the dictionary. Mm-hmm. I think Quentin Tarantino is very unfair. I won't call him a no-good scallywag racist, which he may well be.
Don't do that.
But here's what I will say. This is all I have to say. Why did you use nigger all those times in this revenge flick, but you didn't use, kike in Inglourious Bastards? That's not all.
So wait a minute, he did Inglourious Bastards?
He did Inglourious Bastards. And it's a revenge flick as well.
And it ain't a bunch of kike in there.
Not once. That's one. Not one. I'm not saying it should be.
You just said wasn't no gratuitous use of it.
Do you understand what I'm saying, Mark?
Exactly.
Yes, and this is like, whoa, wait a minute now. It doesn't stop there. It doesn't stop there. Okay. He is mentored by Steven Spielberg. He calls him up all the time, gets direction. So I have a question for Spielberg. Why is it that when you did The Color Purple, you allowed nigger in there, but when you did Schindler's List, you didn't allow kike? I'm not saying you should, once again.
We're telling our own story. We're going to tell it right.
I'm just asking the question.
I'm just asking the question. Tarantino wrote and acted for his good friend Robert Rodriguez in From Dusk Till Dawn. All right? But does he use the Mexican slurs beaner and wetback throughout the movie? Incidentally, guess what? Django sounds like chango, which is Mexican Spanish for monkey. Something we probably didn't know.
Or it could be his interpretation of Shango, the African god of the Yoruba.
Yes, I doubt it's that because, how many people know that? When I was in Cuba, that's what I heard too. And in fact, that's a long story about why they call me Shango, but it wasn't, applicable. Okay. But here's the thing. Tarantino lent his name to Come on, Jeff. Jeff's making me laugh. I'm sorry. Here we go. Tarantino lent his name to the Chinese movies like Hero, right? Mm-hmm. But somehow managed to do so without ever using the Chinese racial slur chink. Did he use the Italian slurs wop or dago throughout his film Reservoir Dogs? These are some profound questions. Right. I'm just asking the question. Why in the world would you use nigger all those times, but when you did other movies dealing with other ethnic groups, you didn't use any of these? I think that's the question. I think it was awful and what he's done, actually. And, in fact, get this. Let me explain to you real quick the definition of nigger according to Webster's dictionary.
Let's go deeper.
It says it now ranks as perhaps, this is a direct quote, as perhaps the most offensive and inflammatory racial slur in English. This is what Webster's dictionary says, 10th edition. Even courts recognize, this is the law now, that it qualifies as a fighting word because there's a fighting words doctrine. Mm-hmm. In other words, if a white person calls you a nigger, you can trust that, you can think to yourself, he's going to do me harm, and you can fight.
If Dr. Goulston called you a nigger now,
the courts recognize my right to defend myself.
Temporary insanity.
Without him throwing a blow. I can throw a blow at him because it's like, whoa, that's how provocative the word is. Right. And Tarantino uses it at least 100 times, like you said. So this is that's just part of it. But I'll turn it over to Jeff.
You about to make me catch a case. Did you just say that if a white man even calls me a nigger, that I could bust him in his chops?
That is the fighting words doctrine.
Okay. Now, is the fighting words doctrine law over the 48 contiguous states?
As far as I know, yes, it is. It went to the North Carolina Supreme Court, that's for sure.
North Carolina.
But let me say this.
I think it's all over.
But check it out. Let me say this. This is really a complex situation because you have a lot. Generationally, the word has different meaning and value. Generationally, you talk to somebody's 65-year-old daddy,
different meaning.
It's a different meaning. You talk to some 19-year-old kid, different meaning.
You talk to somebody that hang out with Chinese people, entirely different
meaning, right? So let me just say this, and this is a powerful thing for me. Listen, at the end of the day, if we don't take ownership of this term, and I mean from the original meaning, like we can flip it around. Furpo, where's the word nigger from? Linguistically speaking, where is it from originally?
Is it Latin?
Latin, Spanish, mean black.
Okay, right.
It just mean black.
Right.
They've read that definition about how it's the vilest word ever again.
Yes.
Let me show you the psychology on this. Go.
Wow. Here's what it says right here.
See you coming.
Let's see. Nigger, right. Now ranks as perhaps the most offensive and inflammatory racial slur in English.
So what they've been able to do is pin us
to some core
to 400 years of our history alone. I'm going to pin y'all to that. Now I'm going to vilify the word that actually describes you.
Well, now someone can argue and say what the poetess has on is black. You're not black.
Let's go deeper. The word black from Blanca, which also means white.
Right.
If you want to play games with it.
That's from Shaft.
That's from Shaft.
Scene from Shaft?
Right.
Dude put the
cup,
coffee up and said, you ain't black.
Right.
And then dude put the thing, you ain't white. Yes, I remember that.
Again, but let's look, I just want to finish this point, then I'll come back to you.
Ahead.
Again, they're making us hate what we are. Before it was negro, it was moros. More means black.
Right.
That's what the Greeks called us. Moros, right? This is where we get our word Maurice. This is where we get the word marine, right? I mean, mariner. We were the ones who were the pirates on the seas, right? Again, at the end of the day, if they vilify the word, and we don't know the history of the word supersedes the 400 years of history of slavery.
Okay, now here's I think, and that's some very insightful stuff you brought out there. Here's what the dictionary says, because of course that is the final word. Now you're saying they're vilifying it, I understand that. But when they use it the way they do, when they turned a good thing, into a bad thing, even they recognize that, hey, wait a minute, this is the worst word in the English language as far as racial slurs are concerned.
I don't consider that recognition.
You don't?
That's validation. That is them saying that it is. We are saying that what we said is the worst thing in the world, in our opinion, from our vantage point, for our own reasons.
Okay, and they're validating that.
They validate. You can call.
I agree.
Well, see, here's why I don't agree.
Oh, you don't agree with that?
No, because I think that a word, just like a dollar, is nothing more than an agreement. We agree that a $20 bill is too much to pay for a now and later, but not enough to pay for a car, depending on whose car. That is an agreement that we have all made.
Okay.
We have agreed that phone represents this. The concept that young black people use the word nigger the way they do and the way I do, I have few meanings for the word nigger.
Well, guess what?
Breaks that agreement.
Okay.
I break that agreement.
Well, guess what? It's really not an agreement. The one who, use your example, the same system that said $1 is $1 says that this is bad. That is to say, you can look at $1 as, I'm going to treat it like it's $500. You can, but when the greater reality hits, you're going to see that that's only $1. That is like they say, what they say about perception. Perceptions are real. I'm like, oh man, that's a joke. If someone is high and they're standing on a 10-story building and then they think that it's just one step because they're high and they step off, their perception is reality, but then the greater reality is going to kick in and they say it's not the fall that kills you, it's the sudden stop.
Yeah, wow. It's the sudden stop. Yeah.
So now I have to find out what the dominant culture says about this, and whether I go along with it or not. If everyone else is going along with it, then it has power.
But
so let me do this.
Let me do this. Culture is
Can I say something as a white guy?
Yes, you can. Yes,
you better watch what you say, though, because you know what he said about that 48 continuous states. You know I love you, but I'm nice with these doorknobs, and I don't want to have to put them on you. Now go ahead.
All right, go ahead, Doc.
I'm playing with this. I'm not going to say the word, but I'm playing with the word. And if I were to say it, what do I mean? And as I lean into it, and if I am the worst part of what white can be towards black, I'm thinking if I were to say that, it's like I'm saying, I get to hate you, degrade you, and humiliate you in public, and you can't do anything about it. It's like I get to hit you, but you don't get to hit me back.
Thank you.
And I'm entitled to that. And what you're going to do about it? And I think there's that. And society is on my side. So too bad. But that's what that's. And I wouldn't say it because it's so repulsive to me. But I think if that's what the word, if I were to say that,
it made Leonardo DiCaprio sick. He had to stop filming because he said the word so many times he got sick.
Was he really sick?
That's what he says.
Because when he saw that check, he continued to act on. We have a caller. Let's get this caller. Let's get this caller. Caller, come on in. You're in.
Hey, good morning. Happy New Year, everybody.
Thank you, brother.
Hey, man, look. I'm just fresh off of seeing Django last night. The creative side in me and the artist in me is like, I loved it. But the reality of it is, if Spike Lee, any of the black directors had come to Hollywood to get that movie made, they would have not have greenlit that movie.
Thank
you. Also, let's get back to what it is. Tarantino has an obsession with not only our black culture, but the word nigger. There's no way in the world that we would be able to, any of us that are black or African American, however you want to call it, people of color, if we came to a studio, a major studio
with
in
that
Hollywood,
concept,
that would not only would it not get greenlit, they're not going to allow it to be done. Just period, point blank. And also, it seems like, and I appreciate everything you guys are saying. Now, real quick, I'm going to get off the phone because I know you got a lot of other callers. Now, I Think I Love My Wife, the movie Chris Rock, the movie he did some years ago. Now, the script was rewritten a couple of times. Now, this is my belief. If we're just talking about what we're talking about today on the show, the minute that they implemented the joke that Chris Rock said about Michael Jackson, and they said that Jews have been persecuted just as much, or not more, than black people, that's when they greenlit. Because before then, they wouldn't have greenlit that film. Because as long as we continue to allow the system to degrade us, no matter how much they say it's art, now from an artistic standpoint, well written as all Quentin Tarantino's movies are, but that obsessive word "nigger" is a problem. Even though it's been, over the years, generation has taken some stink off of it, but still in all, man, he shouldn't have done that. He's trying to be culturally or historically correct with the use of it, but not that many times. I understand they called us niggas and they probably did, but on screen, that's going to be projected all across the world.
Now, let me do this, brother, because I do have to cut you off here, but I appreciate what you're saying, and I'm going to pick up right where you left off.
And I agree with you, too.
We all agree. He just said something. Wait a minute. He just said something that's powerful, man. We live on a planet that the people on this planet, we interfaced ideologically. Okay. We interface through social stereotypes.
Okay.
And if the predominant social stereotype that is proliferated around the world about black people in America is that we were only slaves, what does that tell the rest of the world?
Okay, here's what I got to tell you. Bad news. Number one,
thanks, caller.
The overuse, the misuse, the arrogance, the hatred about the word nigga was there long before the movie Django and was perpetuated long before the movie Django.
I think
I got another little bit of bad news. As African Americans in this country, sadly, 95 to 98% of our history, sadly, is slavery. As African Americans in this country.
Oh, as African Americans.
Yes. And what you said was, as blacks in this country, sadly, the only thing you're going to know about us is slavery. Well, what else do you want to know? Okay? There's a bunch of shit that I don't necessarily even want to know that to me is worse than what is said about us as slavery. Why? Because of slavery, we are so angry and so disconnected and so disjointed that this other shit that we do, like putting all of our shortcomings to dance music, having no secrets. Mussolini said that a nation is only as strong as its secrets, and black people have none. There's a bunch of stuff about being a Jew that I know nothing about. Because
that only they know.
That's not my business. Mexican, Puerto Rican, Asian, there is shit I don't know nothing about. Name something about being black that everybody don't know. That's a mistake.
Wow,
and it's
that's
bigger.
A great point.
It's bigger than slavery. It's bigger than nigga 110 times in Django. And I'm sorry, I dig you, dude, but with this whole uproar about what Tarantino did, I dug the movie. They wasn't calling niggas rutabagas.
Let me ask you all this.
Okay, I want to respond when you finish.
Absolutely.
Okay. Was the film accurate in its depiction not only of slavery, but of us today?
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Furpo?
I just have one question to ask, and then I want to elaborate.
Yes.
Why is it that we are the only ethnic group that embraces this word? Our younger people, nigga this, nigga that. Why is it that the Mexicans don't embrace beaner or wetback? Why is it that the Chinese don't embrace chink? Why is it that the Italians don't embrace?
There are some black people that don't embrace it.
No,
I got a great answer for that.
As a whole, they do not.
I got a great answer for that.
Maybe they ain't strong as us.
Go ahead.
I got a great answer.
Go ahead, please.
Because for one,
so you're going to answer? Why are we the only ones that will embrace this? Okay,
absolutely.
All right.
Because all of those races and creeds that you just mentioned are still directly connected to their history and their land.
Wow.
And you're saying then that they don't embrace it because they're still connected to their history.
Because they are still connected.
Really?
Okay. Because let me put it to you this way.
What do you mean by that? How would you define that?
I'll define very simply.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
If I'm Mexican.
Okay.
Right.
And I shoot you point blank range on TV in the head. If I can get in a van and make it to Tijuana, I'm good.
I'm safe.
So that's defining. What does that have to do with them embracing?
He's saying they got a home to go to.
I'm saying.
You know, wait.
I'm saying.
There's a psychological term called reaction formation, and that means when you twist something inside out when you're helpless. So if you use the N-word and you're young and you can use it so it sounds cool, then you can take the cruel out of it.
cool takes the cruel.
Takes the cruel out.
Got
Cool
it.
takes the cruel out.
Got it.
For young blacks, I'm cool. This doesn't get to me. I'm cool. I can say these things.
And that's a reaction formation.
It's a psychological event.
Yes, a psychological. So that's what I'm saying. I'm suggesting that it's psychologically damaging. You have to react to it psychologically.
Absolutely.
And you do. And no one. We're the only ones reacting that way.
That's a good point. And let me do this. We got to take a quick break, but this is getting heated, and I love the heat in the room. We'll be back, So What Morning Show, to continue the Django movie review. Call us 323-965-1600. Man, Jeff Brown, Dr. Mark Goulston, Fur Pokar. We'll be back at 2.2.
About time I make the rhyme my profession. See this here exchange to change your mind and direction. An architect's design with an electrician's connections. Visions of a shaman when they're rhyming in the session.
Ladies and gentlemen, So What Morning Show back in the building. We're doing a Django Unchained movie review, and this is a cold situation, man. Call us 323-965-1600 is the number to dial. Call us right now and share your opinion about the movie if you saw it. I have several questions. Now they say, okay, Quentin Tarantino makes action figures for every film he's done. He's made action figures for Reservoir Dogs. He's made action figures for Inglourious Basterds. Is there some moral responsibility for making action figures, a slave action figure? Listen, I'm just saying, man, hold on, you.
All right, because I got a question.
I mean, I was talking to this Jewish guy on the basketball court Saturday, and he came to me and was like, yo, man, what do you guys think of Django? And what do you think of Spike Lee's comments about Django? And what we were saying going into break is true. I said, this is where the similarities between the Holocaust that the Jews went through and the Holocaust that the black, African Americans and slaves went through, this is where we differ. The Holocaust for the Jews brought them closer together. It strengthened their resolve and their identity. It made them hold on to their sacred beliefs and social game rules even tighter. The Holocaust that happened to black people stripped us of our social game rules.
Well put.
For one chief reason.
Let me finish. We don't speak our language. We don't know our God. We lost all of our religion, our culture, and anything that had any meaning to us. Right? So, when you look at black people today, you see the remnants of an empty soul trying to interface and make their relationships good. We're running to each other to save each other from, these haunted ghosts that we've never resolved. I mean, it's a powerful thing to live devoid of oneself. So, the reason why I say there should be some accountability, because I don't like platitudes and, everything will be all right. See, that's the American culture. Oh, that was 150 years ago. We didn't. Let me tell you something. This Jewish guy on the basketball court told me, we were sharing stories, and he said something that was very poignant about Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson did Remember the Time, the video. Remember? Mm-hmm. Eddie Murphy is Pharaoh Ramses, and Iman is, Nefertiti. It's the coldest thing ever.
Magic Johnson's in there.
Right. Michael Jackson found out who his true Jewish friends were when he went to them. He went to Steven Spielberg. He went to George Lucas. He said, yo, I want to do this movie video about remember the time when we were kings. Mm-hmm. His homies was like, you better get the feces up out of here.
That's right.
And he had to settle on his third choice, which was Singleton. Mm-hmm. Right?
Right.
And John Singleton stepped up and said, I got it. Right? My point is, at some point, let's just be honest. The Jews run the media.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The world interfaces through media.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's how our kids learn.
Okay.
They don't learn through books. They learn through media. Mm-hmm. They learn through content that is filtered through technology.
Okay.
And if the world only sees our American experience, how do you think when a Korean man sees the black dude that his daughter is dating, why would he have a different perspective? when Cops is on in Korea.
Unimportant.
When Django is on in Korea. At some point, we've got to hold them responsible for the images or not. Listen,
I vehemently disagree.
Here's my final question. Would black people in the entertainment industry rather receive a check and continue to portray a negative image of themselves and be rich and famous, or forego that in order to rebuild their culture?
Well, you know what what's her name said? What is her name? Who played in Gone with the Wind? Hattie McDaniel. You know what she said?
What?
This is how she answered that question. Black people are getting on my case for playing a maid in this movie. I can make $7 a week being a maid, or $700 a week playing one.
I'm gonna play a maid all day.
That's how she answered that.
Massa, mammy.
Okay.
Go on, Jeff.
Couple of things. One, I guess I'm gonna leave with my question because I forgot the other thing. You're asking me, do I have a problem with Quentin Tarantino having slave action figures? And I'm asking you, why should I not buy an action figure made up of this dude who was ahead of his time by riding a horse when most niggas were considered horses and is killing up white people on a level. I can't wait to buy a Django doll and go, son, this dude was a slave that killed white slave owners as fast as he could reload his gun.
Wait a minute, Jeff. Wait, hold on. Jeff.
What?
Django is fictional.
Thank you. No.
That would have meant something to me if that was Nat Turner.
No, let's go to the real one. The real one was Nat Turner.
Turner.
And guess what? They hung him.
Of course. What else is they going to do?
No. So is that what you're going to tell your son too?
Yes, absolutely.
He did this, and now they hung him.
And yes, and you know why I'm going to tell him that?
The same thing.
You know why I'm going to tell him that?
So that's fiction.
I will tell my son that because the truth is, when the shit's on the line, you got to be willing to die. And there's a bunch of Sam Jackson characters that didn't get hung. There was a bunch of cats that stayed in the house that didn't get hung. Nat Turner said, "You know what? Fuck Whitey. He finna get it."
Let me ask you this, Jeff.
I'm gonna tell my son.
Let me ask you this.
So we'll
Jeff,
just tell the whole story.
Let me ask you this.
What?
Would Hollywood do the Nat Turner film?
Hell no, but they did Django, which is what is going to interface the conversation with my son. Check this out. There is a Superman. Superman's fake. I have a figure of Superman. I have a figure of Spider-Man. I have a figure of the Hulk, and they're all in my son's room. Guess who else is going in there? Django. Soon as I can get $15.
And that's right.
Absolutely.
That's your call. Now here's what I think about all of that.
That's amazing.
I think that what Quentin Tarantino did was feed us crack cocaine. That's what I say here. Even when it comes to the love story, I talked to some sisters. They said, well, it's a love story. It was beautiful. You know, I mean, look, he came and he saved his wife, not his girlfriend, and he wasn't sleeping around the plantation with all these other women, and they saw a love story in it. Oh, that's so wonderful. I said, guess what? That's fiction. And, you know, I mean, I understand you wanted to believe that. I mean, the whole thing was fiction. But let me finish.
Every movie I go see is what I want to believe.
Check it out. Here's what I tell them. Sisters, why, while you are waiting to exhale, we brothers are waiting to post bail. That's the reality of it. So guess what? Django, and he told us that at the end of the movie. He said that Samuel L. Jackson's character, said at the end of the movie, you ain't going nowhere, nigga. You can't beat the white man as a gunslinger. You gonna get caught. And so here's my point in saying all of that is
you might have blew up this house.
That's right, but you can't blow up Mississippi. Forget about it. Or like Moms Mabley says, you know, I go down on the Greyhound, but they run me back with the Bloodhounds. You know, the whole purpose of this is one question: do we still have racism today? Do we have oppression of the white man today, right now?
Okay, can I answer that?
Yes.
Go ahead.
People say that racism is what is tearing this country apart. I
Say.
disagree. Racism is the only thing holding this country together. Because as soon as regular white people, as soon as middle class regular white people figure out that the elitists are screwing them the minds of the black man
That's
is on
true.
autopilot. That's on autopilot. They don't have to make another movie. They don't have to make another commercial to get brothers to kill one another, to get brothers to sell crack, to get brothers to mistreat women. That's on autopilot. What's going on now is that the middle class, regular white people are being eaten alive by the elitists who are telling them that they have more in common with them. I'm almost done. That they have more in common with them than they do with us. Racism is always going to be here.
Guess where that started? During slavery.
Absolutely.
When the elitist whites told the regular run-of-the-mill whites, the poor white trash, who were on the same level as the slaves or black people, when he told them that you cannot meet with them anymore.
Right.
Absolutely.
That's when segregation laws came about.
Yes.
Because that's not new.
That's Tim
not
Wise.
new at all. And that's not all. The other thing is this: when you talk about minority, blacks are a minority.
No, we're not.
Oh man, no. People of color definitely aren't a minority. But don't be fooled by that. You have numeric minorities who are very powerful. How many billionaires are there around? They're in a minority, but they're running things.
Let me ask you this.
South Africa,
Okay.
how many whites? They call it minority rule. So all I need is a handful of those elitist whites to keep feeding the flames of racism and discrimination.
Right. Let me ask you this. Do you think the oppression of black people is really about a mentality, maintaining a mentality? We might be the majority in number, but we are definitely the minority in mentality.
Oh yeah,
in power.
In power, right?
Yes, I just illustrated that.
So
one
let me give you this.
the other.
Let me give you this point. I don't know this woman's name. Somebody has been telling me to get her on the show, but apparently she used to be not Barack Obama, Osama bin Laden's black.
She was on my show.
Right.
I had her. Yes.
She's basically saying
I have
that
2 books.
That there are very few billionaires in the world.
Yeah.
But the majority of those billionaires have black wives.
Okay.
And her argument is the black woman is for sale to some degree to the powerful. And I'm just saying, in the movie Django Unchained, the baddest dime in the movie belonged to Massa.
I said that before.
I'm saying, is that an epidemic that is, or is that a true thing? Is that what's happening with our sisters? Are they for sale for the highest bidder among white men? That's how the movie portrayed it. Somebody asked me, and somebody answered that for me.
It depends upon what sister you talk to.
I mean,
that depends.
We need sisters to answer the question, of course, but I think that's a question that should be put forth.
In a capitalist society? Well, that's what, the dude with the most gold make the rules in a capitalist society. But if you're...
Even when it's not a capitalist society, if I still have the most money and power, I'm running the show.
Well, money is what drives capitalism. Which is the other thing I'm getting at. When you discuss billionaires, these are people who have billions of what? Billions of that agreement that
it ain't an agreement, man. They assigned the value. We had nothing to do with that. We didn't agree with that. That was forced on us. You never agreed. Show me a black man, any black man, a black community agreed that, okay, $100 is going to be $100. No, we were told that by the Federal Reserve run by white people.
I get that. I get all of that.
Okay, so it ain't an agreement.
No. And here's where this is this is what I think we're getting caught up on.
All right.
Is it's not an agreement that I made. There are a million agreements that I didn't make that I am under.
All right.
When those agreements start to crumble under their own weight, then things start to change. When this awareness that is about, this age of Aquarius that is about, this is directly tied to commerce, to thought, to this conversation, and the undoing of this is now. And what I really believe is that racism is such a small part of this. And as a matter of fact, it's not necessarily the most negative part of this. The concept that you can tell
You're saying it's a distraction.
I'm saying that yes, at best. The concept that white people don't like me. The concept that the powers that be do what they do and they do it negatively and not in my favor. I give that a big fucking so what, and I tell you why. Because I choose my reality. And as realities grow and as we are becoming this other thing, other people are choosing their realities. And
that's a great point. That's a great point.
No, it's not.
It is a great point. I'm going to come to you. I'm going to come to you. Hold on.
That ain't a great point at
all.
Hold on. I'll tell you in a moment. With all due respect to my brother. Right.
Hold on. It is a great point because you do have the faculty to choose whatever reality you want.
Okay.
However, if you don't know what your choices are, if you don't know what's available, how do you know how to be proactive in creating the kind of reality you want?
Let me.
A Jewish man knows what kind of reality he wants to create because they were able to hold on to that social game rule. We don't have that, so we don't know where to begin. Billionaire. Let's let
billionaire. Okay.
Billionaire.
Absolutely.
And finally, they come to the younger generation.
All right.
Well, let's see what you got.
Let him have it, Playboy.
Man, my theory is, money is a promissory note that acquires debt. Knowledge is a promissory note that acquires power. So I think that women are more, because to me, money doesn't really hold value unless we the people give it value.
Thank you.
I think women, you know what I'm saying? I'm just being honest. I think they're just more in touch and maybe taking a liking into a person that has power. You know, they can give orders. And I don't really think
you saying women want to be ordered around.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
I would take it out of context.
I mean, look at your Barack Obama. It's not it gets to the point where it's not just about his look. It gets to the point where we appreciate the power that he has. Even us as men see that, and we appreciate that because we see a piece of him.
That's a good point.
If it happens to be a Caucasian person and that person sees a liking to that, I don't see anything wrong with it.
Give me 60 seconds. 60 seconds. Go ahead. 60 seconds. Count it right there. 60 seconds.
Go.
Listen, this happened a long time ago. You had Andromeda. And she was an Ethiopian princess.
Yep.
Andromeda, right?
Mm-hmm.
She was forced to go along with Perseus, a white boy who was a Greek. All right, she didn't have a choice in the matter.
Right.
The Greeks were powerful, and they took her. It wasn't because she wanted power or anything. She was beautiful. She was black. She was great, and she was taken.
You saying she was forced?
She was forced. Perseus came. The Greeks were the world power.
She wasn't
at the
like,
time.
man, look at Perseus.
So you were saying she's forced to respect their definition of power.
Absolutely. And let me finish. And I want to hear, Mark, I want to hear what you have to say. And let me give you a little history lesson here. You're talking about racism.
Come on now.
Racism has been here a long time. And guess who were the first racists?
Black people.
Black people in Egypt. Thank you. In Africa. We were the first racists.
Yeah.
We had a black leader who said, kill all the babies who aren't black. You're going to go by the Bible.
Let's do it.
And let's do it. And that's what he did. That's what happened.
Time.
Now the same thing. Okay, I'll stop.
No.
Wait.
I said 60 seconds. He's older than Timmy.
Wait.
Go ahead, Dr. Jack.
I'll come back to it.
As the resident white Jewish person here, I'm going to say something that could get me hung.
Say it, man.
We ain't got no ropes, but
Don't speak that into
and it won't get me hung by you.
All right.
Because what I'm hearing the rage of powerlessness, impotent rage. And what you got to do is you got to wait. Let me finish.
Let him finish.
Because I'm thinking here, and I think the challenge is to all of you: make me care. And I'll tell you what would make me care, and this is what's going to get me hung.
All right.
You do a movie that shows all the greedy Jewish financial people laughing their way to the bank, loving the fact that the poor and the middle class are losing money. You show that. You give them a taste of what it feels like to be put down and exposed. And if they don't like it, then you say, if you don't like the way it feels, don't do it to us.
Wow. Guess what? I'm going to read something to you. Goes right along what he just said. What does that say right there? Django and the Jews.
Django and the Jews.
Check it out. Just as Jewish men were pivotal in making Birth of the Nation, actor George Sigmund, for example, used Burt Cork to don blackface as he played the role of Silas Lynch, a biracial leading character. Jewish men, New Yorkers Bob and Harvey Weinstein of the Weinstein Company, backed Tarantino by bankrolling Django. Some of Tarantino's other close Jewish friends are Eli Roth and Harvey Keitel, who's an excellent actor. I go into that, what he just said. That's just the reality of it, baby. And now you're hearing it from someone who is a Jew. Go on, Jeff.
Okay, I got a question.
Was it Farrakhan moment?
Would you still have as much ire and angst for this movie if they replaced the word nigger with rudabakers?
Rudabakers. Absolutely not. Rutabaker, according to Webster's dictionary, is not one of the most opprobrious, nefarious, wickedest words in history.
Break it down.
Our ancestors did not. That was the last word they heard when they were beat into submission. They didn't say, you, Rutabaker.
I think Firpo's making a great point, but his outrage is losing. It's distracting from it. What I hear him saying is, okay, if the idea is that we're into an age of gratuitous outlandishness, then do it fairly. If you're going to be outlandish about the blacks, be outlandish about the Jews, be outlandish. Just do it fairly. And the fact that we're all lowering to a baser level of humanity because we get distracted and fall asleep with our ADD unless we see something outrageous. So Tarantino, let him do outrageous stuff, but let him do it fairly.
You know what? Wow. You know, and the reason why I'm being distracted for it, and thank you so much. That's a very wise observation. I told myself I was not going to get worked up, but Jeff made me want to do it.
Come on, man. That's what I do.
Now, that's what he does.
I am the comic adjutant.
Let me ask everybody here something.
And also,
the intellectual irritant.
Being a black person,
look him in the left eye,
and looking at this. These guys
trying to catch his left eye right now.
These
I got it.
These guys right here. I mean, you know, right? Oh, it's funny. I saw him do that. I saw Jeff do it. I'm copying off of him. Knowing all of this, you know, it's talking about the Hebrew scriptures or the Bible, the Tanakh, as you know.
The Torah.
The Torah is the first
books,
5.
Right?
No, the Tanakh is all of them, all 39. You know, Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, Joshua, Judges, Ruth, 1st, 2nd Samuel, 1st Kings, 1st Chronicles, Ezra, Nehemiah, Esther, Job, Psalm, Proverbs, Ecclesiastes, Song of Solomon, Isaiah, Jeremiah, Lamentations, Ezekiel, Daniel, Zed, Joel, Amos, Obadiah, Jonah, Micah, Nahum, Habakkuk, Zephaniah, Haggai, Zechariah, Malachi. Those ones, those 39 books.
You left out Nahum.
I did not. I did not. I said no.
I went to church too, pimpin'.
Now, guess what? There in Ecclesiastes, guess what? Solomon said in Ecclesiastes 1:18, because I have so much knowledge, it has made me angry. It makes me depressed.
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah.
And that's what it is. So what you're hearing is the angst of a black man who has a lot of knowledge about this and who gets pissed off when it happens.
Okay.
But your point is still well taken. Maybe I'll talk with you to help me.
And let me say this too. Let me say this too.
I'm giving him a coaching tip.
Okay? Help me out. Help me out there.
Because what happens is you are dishonoring your smartness and your wisdom
I know
that the world needs to hear.
Thank
when
you,
you
sir.
get agitated, what happens is people can just say, "Oh, he's agitated," and you're dishonoring a gift that you have, and not many people have that.
Thank you, sir.
All right, let me say this.
Thank
Let me
you.
say this.
Thank you.
Let me
I really
say
mean
this.
that.
Let me say this really
Okay,
quickly.
go ahead.
And nobody respects Dr. Mark Goulston more than Zoe Williams, but I must disagree. You cannot say a people bereft of soul, bereft of the knowledge of themselves, can't lash out angrily. I mean, they're hurt. We're hurt. We're struggling.
You're wounded.
No, that's
and
not-
so-
that's
let
not
me
what
just-
he's
let me-
saying.
what I'm
No, I
saying-
know what he's saying.
No,
Let
what
me-
I'm
can I
saying is
finish?
it's
Hold on.
ineffective to your cause.
Yes, what
It
he's saying.
might be. It might be. But if that's the level we're coming from, you can't say, oh, you're ineffective to your cause. It's just where we are.
Yes, you can.
And because he's in charge.
He's right. Yes.
Bam!
Yes, you can.
My point is,
I'm not
if
in
my
char-
child...
Oh, the white man's in charge.
No, I'm not in charge as a white person. I'm in charge that clarity should be respected, and when you have the ability to have it, that's in charge.
But it goes
And we
back.
all do things
what
that
I'm saying-
distract
Let me
from
do
it.
it. Let me
you're
do it
saying-
this
but
way.
what you're
Hold
saying-
on, everybody, please. We can't all talk at one time. Just let's pay attention.
All right.
I'm going to go back to the doctor's point that he gave to me when dealing with the girl who was traumatized. He said that traumatized person cannot hear from another person who has not been traumatized. And black people have been traumatized.
collectively.
And we cannot hear from you saying
Thank you.
your energy or your anger is breaking down your point. This is where we're coming from.
But I don't think you're
we've been
hearing
traumatized by you.
I don't think.
Damn.
Wait, you're not hearing each other. You're inflaming each other and keeping yourself ineffective.
Oh no, no. You can't speak for us.
That's
You can't
true
speak for
too,
us.
though.
You cannot speak for
No.
us. No way. I hear him.
Here.
I will give him
Mark.
I will give him. That's valid. What he just said is valid.
No, that's valid. Wait a minute. That's valid. That's valid on Hanukkah. That's valid on Yom Kippur. If you go to a Jewish house and they yelling and screaming at one another, that's valid. Black folks do this all the time.
Right.
Okay?
We love
I'm
each other.
hollering at this dude right now,
That's
but
right.
I tell you what, if he go outside and he got a problem, goddamn it, we got a problem.
Right.
So
This is
okay.
breakfast.
So this is
Vice
how we
versa.
do.
Right, this is breakfast.
Kiss my ass.
Vice
No, you
versa.
kiss my ass. Fuck
Okay.
you.
Hey,
I'm
did it
moving
right
out.
home?
No,
Did
you
it
ain't.
right
I
home?
love you.
Yeah, right. That's right. Absolutely. Now check this out. Let me say this now. But what he is saying though, what he is saying is something that I stated. The system where it is where systemic racism is perpetuated.
Yeah.
What he's saying is that if you want to make a point, if you want to be effective, he's not saying these
gotta
words,
look
but
in
the
that left eye.
slave masters will all, and those who are reasonable, the few, and maybe even some of the guilty ones, if you approach them in a non-threatening way, because they're already scared of black men.
Yeah.
If you approach them in a non-threatening way, and you say what you have to say, you will be more effective because they are in charge, and you have to dance to the music without sacrificing or surrendering what you really believe in.
And I vehemently disagree with that.
All right, go ahead.
Okay,
Here's-
really
quickly. What if, as a black people, we said, hey, Florida, if you don't give Zimmerman the needle, we are going to disavow you for 100 years. Everybody who thinks they black is moving out of Florida. Nobody will play for or against a Florida team. Fuck orange juice. What if we said that? That ain't got nothing to do with the system. That's us going, you know what? Fuck you.
No,
Since fuck
what
us,
they'll
fuck
do.
you.
No, guess what they'll do?
What would they do?
All of the racist, white supremacists, neo-Nazis would move to Florida. Saying,
Fantastic.
This is heaven for us.
Fantastic.
Is that
But
all?
guess
Is that
what?
all it took
Guess
for
what?
them? Is that all it took for us to get rid of them? Oh my God!
Add up all the racist neo-Nazi money and see, does it come to one season of the Hurricanes with no niggas playing?
Okay, let me do this really quick.
Okay.
All right, that's a great question. Let me ask everybody this question. We're gonna go around. Is the movie good for us? Is it good for the country? Is it good for the world?
Can we start
great
from
for me.
Can we start from me? Can we start from here?
Start with Furpo, and then the doc,
All right.
Jeff,
And then the foolishness.
billionaire.
All right, here we go. All right, here it is. Here's what I have to say about that. All right, Tarantino inserted feel-good scenes throughout the movie, but
He baited us.
But these collectively amounted to a designer drug cocktail for people of African descent. Now, he made us crackheads, and to slip nigger in all those times, we get angry, and then he gives us a shot. He gives us a shot of the pipe, and we're like, "Oh, okay, it's all right, that's okay. Oh, that's right, he did shoot a white person." And then he gets nigger, and then there it is. Wow. Now, no, it is to answer your question. Absolutely not. It is the title of my article is My Angle on Django, and the subtitle is Birth of a Nation Revisited.
Ooh. When will this article be out and where?
It'll be out this Thursday on my website, furpocar.com.
You gotta check it out.
And then just click on article.
Absolutely.
You gotta check it out. Dr. Mark, good or bad for us? The nation, the world.
I like what some of the callers said. It's a lot of people are going to see this, and it could start conversations like we had today. As painful as they are, you need to have conversations. And what I was pointing out before is it's not about me being in control or not. If you need to get into the listening of other people. Everybody listens to someone, and if you get into people's listenings, how they listen and what they listen to, they'll listen to you. But a lot of times we don't. We don't care about the way everyone listens. We all listen differently. A friend of mine changed Teach for America because he had all these college kids were coming home and they weren't connecting with inner city kids. And what he said is, you're too nice. When you say it's time for history, you sound like a fool. You got to sound like their moms who say, get your black butt in the tub, whereas a middle class mom will say it's time for your bath. So you want to get these kids motivated to learn and say, hey, Ike, Open the history book, page 68. Just read it,
It won't
and
be
they'll
the same
respect
coming
you.
from a white person.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, right. It's very disrespectful. It was a disrespectful moment from the doctor.
I was
Jesus.
doing well and I lost it.
Yeah, you about a half
I
instead of
meant well, but
You about
you meant well. I understand.
That was like the
Thank you for
third base performance
gets
at the
lit.
Apollo.
Oh my God!
that. Not the same. Not the same. Not the
Wow. Yeah, that get your black butt in the tub. That's right. That ain't nigga, but that's riding in the car with me. That's
Go ahead,
riding shotgun.
Jeff.
Go talk to us,
Okay,
baby.
I learned this today.
Wrap it up, though.
Apparently, I was duped. I was fooled by Quentin Tarantino.
Yes, you were. No, I'm just kidding.
Yes, into believing, into enjoying a film where scores of racist white people
were
were
killed.
savagely murdered. Some of them not even guilty, murdered. I was fooled into believing
That's right,
that was
fantasy.
good. But I tell you what, there are so many other foolings. Diet soda is a fooling. Red meat is a fooling. Pork is a fooling.
I love it.
And I was happy. I was happier than a 60 with a bag of penises to be fooled by Django, and I am going to be duped again over and over and over again, because when I see Whitey's blood splash at the hands of black people in the 1800s, something in me is entirely overjoyed.
Right.
And I'm going to have it happen again.
All right.
And Jeff,
I already got the bootleg.
Jeff, you're a crackhead.
Billionaire. Billionaire.
I got worse.
Billionaire.
I love
Good.
it.
Is it good or bad?
Real quick, man. My personal opinion, good or bad, I personally think that that's his movie, and he did what he wanted to do. If we want to tell our side of the story, like Doctor said, we should do our own movie and educate our people. Because you got to remember, man, success isn't measured by how long we sit in here and talk. It's measured by results. He did his results, and we talking about his movie.
Right.
We're not talking about ours.
All right, now I'm gonna wrap up the show right here, really quickly.
Go ahead.
1966, great actor by the name of Sidney Poitier was in a movie called The Long Ship. Go look it up. It's on YouTube. The Long Ship. Sidney Poitier plays the role of a Moor, and he has white people enslaved on the Long Ship. These white people are from Norway. And he is a Moor, dressed in a traditional Moorish garb. My question is, why can't we have movies not just of black people enslaving white people, but there should be some parity where we're not just slaves. Our history extends beyond the American slave trade.
Absolutely.
And I would love for Hollywood, and I know they probably won't, because whenever you get into history, because remember this, whoever wins the war gets to rewrite history.
Right, exactly.
Right? So at the end of the day, if I, as a Jewish man, just like you said earlier about the football, I'm not going to give you my playbook and let you see how I'm running. I'm not going to show black people in their limelight. I'm not going to show black people in their historical
significance.
Why would I do that?
Right.
But the point that Billionaire made, which was excellent, when are black people going to use all of their considerable resources and do it they damn self?
They did with Buck and the Preacher, with Posse, and with Skin Game. Those were the same. Those were westerns with black people, and guess what?
Black folks
they did
failed
not
them.
use nigger in it.
Black folks failed them.
And
all right, listen.
The Preacher,
Real quick,
Posse,
though.
and
Listen,
Skin Game.
we don't have a lot of time. I'm gonna do this really quickly. Everybody just give a website and nothing else. So how they can get in contact with you. Starting with Billionaire. Where can they find you? Website, and then we move.
Go to wealthymindsclothing.com and speak your dreams into existence.
There we go.
Firpocar, FIRPOCARR, one word.com.
GetRealInfluence.com.
There it is. And Jeff?
I'm going to see Django again, damn it, because I like seeing white folks get shot.
.net.
All right, and really quickly, I want everybody who tuned in today to text ZO to 90210. That's how you stay in contact with me on my social media. Text ZO to 90210. I'll
Thanks
see you
for
guys
having us,
tonight.
Zoe. Thank
Yes,
you.
I'll see you guys tonight on Corey Holcomb Show. Great show
Jeff,
today. Talk to you guys
Mark.
later. Peace.
Billionaire.
Shot.